Hello everyone. I want to try something new. My inner child always plays a story in my head when I'm in the forest exploring with my dogs, and today I wanted to tell you one of these stories that I always have in my head. I hope you like it, and if not, keep it to yourself. Telling a tale in search of the fairy ring. It was a foggy day when I decided to set off into the enchanted part of the forest that I had visited several times in recent years. This part of the forest was known for its mysterious fairy rings, magical circles made of mushrooms that were considered portals to the other world in many myths. On such a mystical day, I felt the urge to explore these hidden wonders again. As soon as I stepped onto the narrow path, the dense branches of the tall trees enveloped me. The air was cool and damp, and the fog seemed to lie over the forest like a gentle veil. I followed the familiar path that wound through the forest, but soon we encountered obstacles. Trees lay across the path, their branches tangled and covered with moss. A deep sigh escaped me. This is going to be an adventure, I thought to myself, and set out to find a detour. Together with my faithful companion Frieda, who always is up for an adventure, I looked for alternative paths. Many bushes seemed to want to prevent us from reaching our goal, but our spirit of discovery was undiminished, and so we wound our way through the low branches. After a while, we came across a swamp. The water collected in deep canals, which glittered in the dim light. "We have to cross these canals," Frieda decided bravely. I nodded, even though I could already see myself with wet feet. We found some thick branches that looked like a small bridge, and with a clever jump, we managed to get to the other side. Suddenly we found ourselves on a small forest island surrounded by old trees. The scenery was magical. The air smelled of fresh moss and the light fell gently through the leaves. On the other side of the canal, I discovered a fairy terrace. But we had to try to get down from this island too. We walked to the edge of the small island where the path actually went. Eventually we found a narrow path that led us back to the thicket of the forest. However, our progress was soon stopped by more fallen trees. While Frieda tried to find a new path, I did my best to follow her, but the dense undergrowth not only held me back, Frieda had her problems too. After a few minutes of searching and fighting through the undergrowth, I finally found a narrow path between the trees. After all the effort, it was almost disappointing when we reached the edge of the forest without having discovered a single fairy ring. But before I lost courage, I realized that I had indeed found a small ring of mushrooms. Not the magnificent fairy ring I had hoped for, but still a small round ring of bright white and brown mushrooms on a rotting tree. Not exactly what I imagined, I chuckled, looking down at the dull brown mushrooms clustered together. They were far from the magical rings I had been hoping to find, but there was something charming about them. "Oh, that is magic too," I said, smiling. Although we hadn't found a fairy ring, the experiences and adventures were priceless. "Next time," I whispered to Frieda, "we'll keep looking." And so we set off back, full of stories and memories, ready to explore the forest once again.